All right, good morning. So this is Tangle Tuesday, and it's Loretta West with Color Garden Studio, and I welcome you to some fun times today. And at any time, if you need to speak to me, just speak to me, and I'll hear you in my headset. Your question, or you can also type it in the chat. And if you're watching this later on video, please leave a comment and I will respond. So let's have some fun. Today, oh goodness, okay. Before we start, I wanted to show you what I'm working on because this is really funny. And some people I think have seen this, and I know Danielle, you've contributed. So I had this beautiful Zentangle tile I did of the Morrisseau Tangle, and it was lovely. And even my husband said, "Oh, I really like that one," which is rare. He doesn't often say that about things I do. He's, supportive, but he never gushes over something, or very rarely. So I had left it in the living room, and normally Maddie the Muncher, our 4-year-old Labrador, doesn't touch it, but for some reason she did, and she tore it up into little pieces, and then there's some pieces here that were definitely torn up and gone forever. And so I threw it in the garbage in disgust. But I did photograph her little sculpture that she had done, and of all the torn pieces and ripped up. And it was Danielle Jerome and another gal, and I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, on Instagram, who said I should glue it back together in a, what's it called? Kintsugai. I'm going to say, I hope I got it right, or wabi sabi, and put gold on the broken bits. So I fished it out of the garbage can with the lint on it and other things. And commenced gluing it together by putting it on another Zentangle tile on the back and using PVA or polyvinyl adhesive. And you can see it's kind of shiny and stuff like that. So anyway, it was fun to do and turned out better than I thought. And so then I started playing with backgrounds. I'm still not there yet. So I've sort of figured out to extend the lines. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, extend the lines. So this is done with the background's done with a white charcoal pencil and then colored pencil. So that's that one. Still noodling around on that one. I like that one. And then I came up with another one. And this one is a little brighter. Let's see if we can get the lines to light. Two things here. Not there, not there. Maybe there. Ah, here we go. And this is slightly off center. And I use the Sakura white jelly roll pen with Prismacolor colored pencils and for that background. And Danielle thinks it's sensational. Well, thanks, Danielle. So I'm not done yet. I'm still thinking. I like both of them, and we'll see how that goes. But from a dog's mouth, you never know what will come. And but the funny thing is, the really funny thing is that then I put, the completed piece like this on Instagram, and my, the dog art got all sorts of attention, but way more attention than my usual art does. It would make me laugh. And anyway, so let's start. And you're going to need a piece of paper. And today I'm going to use, you can use a Zentangle tile if you wish, anything in your sketchbook, any paper will do, even if all you have is photocopy paper, bond paper, that will work today. I'm going to use Strathmore Artist tiles and Bristol with vellum surface. So it's larger. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay. So,
Loretta?
Yeah.
Loretta, what size is the paper?
This one is 6 by 6. 6 by 6. They're very handy. They're very, very handy. And if you go to Michael's, they sell a shadow box that fits 6 by 6. So you can easily frame it. And I really like this size. It's a perfect size for traveling or anywhere. Or if you just have a little space that you want to put some artwork, it's great for that. So you're going to need a pencil, and this is an HB that I have this morning, and you're going to need a pen, and I have a Micron pen in black, but any pen that you have will work today. And I also have a blending stump or torchon right there. And if you would wish to color, which I always encourage color, or not, but I like it. I have Prismacolor colored pencils to work with this morning, but if you've got markers, watercolors, chalk pencils, whatever you have in your toolbox to play with, I invite you to bring it along to the party. So we're going to start with our pencil. And just take a minute to sit in your chair. I'm letting out a deep breath. It's a crazy busy time of year around here. And just appreciate where you are in space and time at this very moment. Maybe look out the window or look somewhere pleasing in your room where you are and just take it in and just appreciate whatever it is that you see. Right now I'm looking out and I see our flowering crab tree. This year, it's 2 years old, and this year is just going gangbusters with the pink blossoms. And hanging baskets I bought last week that didn't freeze last night. I'm grateful for that. And bleeding heart that's blooming, and the hills that surround me and hold me. And it's a beautiful day. So let's start. And I'm going to start with a dot. So we're going to put a dot in each corner of your paper. You do not have to do this part if you don't want to do a border, but I invite you to do that. But a lot of people, they don't want to do a border, they just want to do it edge to edge, and that is good too. That'll work great. And then we're going to connect the dots, and you could do it straight across as you want, or you could do it slightly curvy or loopy or put in loops. I'm just going to connect it and bring it down this way. I'm going to turn my paper. Now, can everybody see that? It's a little bright. Let's see. I'm doing it quite light. I want to restate this line so you can really see it. That's a little better. And all of a sudden the sun's come out and it's very, very, very bright in here. So I'm just going to adjust my blinds. Here we go. Okay, let's see if that's somewhat better. And another line this way. And another line this way. And one more, and I'm coming towards myself. I'm drawing towards myself. So now you have this little square within a square. And just like last week, I explained that starting with a line, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with just a line and let it grow. So I'm going to start in one corner. You can start in any corner you wish. And I'm going to do an arcing line that comes up like that. You can see that. That's what you have. Very simple. It's not perfect, but that's all right. So I'm going to put my pencil away and take out Micron PN and see where that goes. So I'm going to start at the top and just restate this line. So I'm just going over it. Restate is a fancy arty term for go over again. And I'm going to thicken it at the bottom here a little bit. And go over it again. Let's give it a little bit more thickness, a little more weight to this line. Okay. And then we're going to do leaf shapes, elliptical kind of leafy shapes. So the first one like this and like that. And then it's going to have a little border like that. I'm just going to check to see if nobody else is wanting in here. Okay. And this started with one idea of usual, just sort of, I was looking at Joanne Fink's Zenspirations and how her lesson on leaf shapes. And this is how it started. And it just kind of grew from there. So I've got this shape. And I'm going to do a little bit of 2 little dots down there, if you can see that. Again, I'm going to aura this line around. Do another one out here. Some alternating the sides of the leaves here, or leaf shapes. And they're quite expressive. A couple of dots there. So this time I'm going on the outside to make the aura. And notice how slowly I'm going. And a few of them are going to have some little curly cues on the end. Now, if you remember, if you were in a previous class or you've seen it on video, there was another class that we did on the Tangle Morceau by Cheryl Moot. And so we're going to incorporate that in here. And so let me just do a little sample on a piece of paper. You can see how the tangle works. So this kind of shape, these rounded geometric shapes, joined, connected by a little line to say a round shape. Maybe a square shape. So that's the idea. Okay, sort of like Tinker Toys connection. So we're going to do the
Is there a
same
name
thing.
for your first one?
Pardon?
Was there a name for what you've got, what you've done
Yeah,
so far?
this one here, that's Morrisseau. And
No, the first one.
the first one, these
Yeah, the
leaves,
one.
no, they have no name.
Well, they're lovely. Your invention.
Well, I don't know if they're my invention, but they are just leaf shapes. Yeah. Okay. So in between where these gaps are, we're going to put this Morrisseau thing. And I'm going to do over here, so it's a big space to start out with. I like to start in the larger spaces. It's just easier for my brain. And I'm going to do this rounded triangle pattern. Every time I see this, I think of the game Trivial Pursuit and those little triangles that go in the discs. And then we're going to have some other shapes branching off, little circles here. Maybe one coming off here. And you can give some weight to the lines a little bit, rounding off. And I'll just do a little bit coming off here. I'm going to do another triangular shape here, sort of triangular, kinda. Didn't quite make it. Close. I want to state before I forget that next week, Brenda DeBach is going to be the host instructor. And so she'll have full control while I'm off doing something else. Thank you very much for offering to do that, Brenda. I do appreciate it. We'll do another one here. Again, I'll try the triangle shape again a little better. Okay. So that's a drawing of the basic design we're going to do. And this is where paradox is going to come in. So in our sort of triangle shapes, we're going to do the Tangle Paradox by Rick Roberts. And let me tell you, I was on Zentangle teacher certificate number 10. And this is when he came out with this paradox. And I really struggled in class to get it. I mean, really did. And the key is to keep turning in the same direction. And I would get muddled. So on the long plane ride home, I sat down with my sketchbook and I just did it over and over again until I got it. So I want to show it to you on a, not this form, but on just a basic triangle. Okay. Let's do it this way. And this is the way it goes in my head. I think fat to thin. So I got a fat end and a thin end. Then I turn, and if you need to, when you practice, to remember how to turn your paper. So I'm turning it this way. It helps. It helps to have a little arrow there while you practice to remind yourself. So again, I'm doing fat to thin. So fat at this end, thin over here. Then I'm turning my paper again the same way, and fat to thin. I'm going to do it again, and those lines are going to meet. Oops. Margaret Bremner has got a really good tutorial on this on her blog, The Enthusiastic Artist, and all that you can do with it. I've always kept it pretty basic. It reminds me of, if anybody is familiar with the paper art called iris folding. So it always reminds me of that when I do it. And you can leave it open like that or keep going. You can put a circle in the middle if you wish. But that's your basic one. So we're going to translate that to our little rounded triangle shape. So I'm going to do it this way. And I'm thinking fat to thin. Fat to thin. Fat to thin. Fat to thin. to thin, and fat to thin. Are you dizzy yet? There it is. Now I have to plug in my microphone. It's telling me I'm out of juice. Plug me in. Give me a minute here. Okay, everybody can still hear me?
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, I have to plug into the mothership here. Even though I charged it, it's not happy. Okay. So I have this funny little triangle shape here. Do the same thing. Anybody need any help with their paradox? We all good? Okay, somebody had asked, Barbara asked how I did the gold on the dog chewed piece, and I used a gold watercolor called Starry Colors. It's made by Kuretake, and it's different colors of gold and silver. I put it on, I don't add a lot of water to it, so it's quite pasty when I paint it on. It's almost like acrylic paint. But you could also certainly use a high flow or a little bit heavier if you want acrylic paint. In gold would also work. Okay, so let's just do one more here. One more we'll do. You get better at it, so you don't need to turn the paper, I find. But I still, to start off with, usually turn the paper. So it's just easier to get my brain going. Huh. Ever do something smart and you forget that you did it? I actually put my tea this morning in my traveler to keep it hot. And I'm looking around here for my coffee cup and I found this. And oh, I forgot I had done that. I warmed it up in the microwave and stuck it there. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Loretta,
Yes.
Loretta, this is Barbara. Thank you for about the gold with the watercolors, but from here it looked like it was raised like 3D. Or is that just,
Yeah, it's just where the joins of the paper.
oh, that's
Yeah,
where
with-
you had glued it underneath.
Yeah, it's all glued. So
Well, that
underneath,
makes, okay. So
Yeah.
that's another way of doing it. Okay,
yes, I glued it.
perfect.
I wasn't sure that once I put the PVA down, you can see it's nice and shiny, that the watercolor would adhere well enough, but it did.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's the spot where all the,
So yeah, you should use the glue first or something else. Okay,
or something, I glued
yeah,
it down on the bottom first, and then I let it dry, and then I glued the
Okay.
top over, just to,
it's beautiful, beautiful.
thank you.
And Loretta, what is
Yeah.
PBA?
It's polyvinyl acrylic,
Oh,
and it's probably banned in several states, but it really works well. What's lovely about it is it's used when I was making books, seriously making books. I used it a lot. It dries in about 30 minutes to clear, but what's nice is it dries slowly. So if you make a mistake, you can just peel it off,
hmm.
within like 3 or 4 minutes and just peel it off. You can also add water to whatever, to it once it's even dried, and it will come off. So when you make a mistake, it's great for that. It's very forgiving. And it's archival, and it probably lasts centuries. So, okay, let's get back to the lesson. So inside our little leaf shapes, we're going to do the Tangle Diva dance, and this is the way I do it, which is probably not the way it's supposed to be done, but this is the way I do it. Okay, so I do a little wavy line, and then I puddle in some dark bits here and there. And then I do another wavy line underneath it, just to borrow that line, and do again some dark bits. When I look at this leaf, I always think of the Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know why, maybe, maybe, I don't know why it reminds me of that. But it's like, oh, little mouth. And then if any tangle that you'd like to put in the leaves, you've already had. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. If there is a shape or a pattern that appeals to you and I'm not a diva dance person, I would like to do whatever. Options could be, you might want to write this down, OV, OVY, I'll write it down for you. Okay, so OV by Adam Rhodes is one possibility. Fles, oops, spell it. Fles by Lori Howe. You could do a good old tipple, would also work. And if you have room, Zigolo, Zigoli or Zigoli by Deb Bowyer. So those are ones that you could, put in there instead, or you can mix it up, or if there's something that you would like to try in there, go ahead and do that. I want to stick with Diva Dance for today. So you can finish that up on your own. And I'm going to proceed a little quicker here. Oops. So for the edging, for around the border, and this will take some time. So once you're committed, be prepared. But it will be rewarding, I think. So when I have these lines come up from here over, and I'm going to bisect it with some triangle shapes, zigzagging back and forth. I want to mention that this is being recorded, if you don't know that, and that you can watch the recording on my YouTube channel, Loretta West, Color Garden Studio. And you can also subscribe if you'd like to. That'd be most appreciated. And there's a donate button also in the top banner. If you care to donate, it would also be appreciated. So what we're going to do here in these triangles, I'm going to start with one that's big. And we're going to do I'm going to restate over here, this line over here, it bugs me. I have to have a border. Just go over that. Okay, we're going to do paradox back then. I had a brain fart there. I had to think, what am I doing? Thin. I don't know if this one's working out very well. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of an orb in there. And leave a little shine. Goodness gracious. And so you could do, all on one side with paradox, and on the other side you could do paradox, or you could do another tangle in there. Whatever you think would be good. I mean, there's so many. Pick one that would be a good one for this shape. Like Tivoli, I'm thinking would be good. Okay, so let's get on to a little coloring, a little shading. So as I said previously, I've got some Prismacolor pencils. And could leave that one out. Stick to 3 or 4 here. So I'm going to stick to these ones. So I've got a light aqua, and it's PC 992. Crimson red, PC 924. Spanish orange, PC 1003. Pale vermilion, PC 921. China blue, PC 1100. And I also have white, just white, no fancy name, PC 938. And a blending pencil, PC 1077. So if you have a white crayon, you can put white down first. Or if you've got this blending pencil, you can put it down first, and it's just clear. It's being just a clear waxy, a little white in it. And it creates sort of like an icy surface so that when you put down your colors over top, they blend really well together. So we'll put the yellow here. And then I'm gonna come back in with my orange.
Excuse me, Barbara again, what did you put down first?
I put down, this is a blending pencil from.
Right. Okay, so you put the
yeah.
blending pencil first,
Yeah,
then the colors.
then the
Okay,
color. You could try
Great.
that, and you're gonna
Okay.
get a lighter color doing that.
yeah,
If you want a bold color, you would put down, let me just find another one here. I would just start with the yellow first, and then the orange over top. So it's going to be a little darker.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Excuse me. And just to show you, you can do, plain orange over here. It's quite dark comparatively. And then I've got this light aqua. And I can come in and just do it plain like that. It's going to be quite dark. Put it over here. I'll use some of this blending pencil. Yeah, over top. It's a little lighter, but it goes on much easier because it's got that little sheen to work on, a little slick surface. Got some red in here. So here I'll use, you can also use white to do the same thing. So there's a white pencil underneath on this one. And I've got this crimson red. And then if you show you the difference, and this is just plain crimson red over here, it's just a little darker. And then for the leaf shapes, options are you could leave it just the way it is and just have the accenting color, which is very pretty. Or you could do a little shading. So I've got my HB pencil. I'm just going to do a little shading here on the base of this leaf shape. Take my tortillon and spread that out. That's really pretty. And then you can go in again with your pencil and darken it just where the lines come together. So that's one way to do that. Another way, if you want to darken it, is to go in and do little tiny dots close together. Let's do this edge. Quite close together, give them little freckles. And then, when I'm doing this with my pen, have them spread out a little bit as they get. So you're shading with your pen. We'll do the other end here.
Loretta,
Yep.
is that dotting, is that just a technique, or is there a Tangle that
Nope,
uses
that's the technique. Stippling.
stippling? Okay, so it's just stippling. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
those pen techniques. So if you don't have a pencil around or you don't want to mess with the pencil, you can use your pen to create the illusion of depth. Just have fun with it. There is a phenomenal video on YouTube. I recommend, it might be on TED Talks now as well. It's called Embrace the Shake. I think it is on TED Talks. And it's about a man, Peter Franzen, I think his name is. And he did, all his art was a stippling. Beautiful, realistic artwork. Well, he developed a nerve issue with his hand. And he went to the neurologist and they said, well, you know, they tried different things and they didn't work with him. And finally the neurologist said, just embrace the shake. So now he does these incredible pieces of artwork utilizing the shake in his hand. So anyway, it's worth watching about, you know, persevering and also about resilience. And if you want to, and you wanted to add a little color to the side of your leaf, I'm going to go over it with white here on this edge. I've got my light aqua. Bring it in and pressing quite hard at the one end. And then as I get towards the middle, I'm letting up on the pressure. And again, at this end, I'm pressing quite hard, and letting up on the pressure as I move along. And because I've already got the white there, it's blending really nicely together. And then I'm going back in with my blue, which is China blue. And just at the ends, I will do a little bit of darkness there. And then you can go back either with the white or with a blending pencil. We'll use the blending pencil and just blend that all together. Ooh, pretty. So blending pencil I'm using right over top. We'll do the top one as well. Oh, I forgot to put the white down first. Uh-oh. It's okay, I can do it now. I can still add it. Go back with the China blue. The end. The blending pencil to smooth it all out. So most art supply stores sell, you know, the basic Prismacolors individually. So quite often you will see this on 1077 for sale individually if it didn't come with the set that you purchased, if you purchased a set. And you can just go in, you don't have to purchase a set, you can go in and just buy a few at a time. But I think that it's probably less expensive to buy a set. So gives you an idea of where to go. So next week, Brenda's going to be here, and I will be recovering from a weekend on the sailboat, probably. And So I'm just going to stop the recording and thank you very much for joining me today. If you're watching the recording, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.